Okay, so we're first going to look at picking up the hind legs when a horse is a little bit tricky about picking up the hind legs. A lot of horses get tricky because they have soreness up higher, or they're weak, or they have a bit of arthritis in the hock or the stifle or the hip joint. So picking up the hind feet on a lot of horses can be much harder than picking up the front feet. So the way he's resting this foot right now, this is when the hoof is weightless. If they have their weight off of it, picking up the hoof is easy. And this is the hoof we're going to show. He has a little bit of thrush in there, right? And then bringing the hoof down here, this low, makes it really comfortable. So if the horse is fussy, the higher you try to lift the hoof, the fussier they get. So if I'm just picking horses' feet, then if the horse is uncomfortable with picking up the hind feet, the lower you keep it closer to the ground, the easier it is for the horse. If they have hindquarter weakness, or if they have any kind of issue. Like if they're just weak behind, or they have some arthritic issues, some lack of mobility issues, then the lower the hoof is, and some horses I've had to pick their feet with the toe resting on the ground, that low. So we have to squat quite a bit to do that comfortably without hurting our backs. But the lower that hoof is to the ground, the more comfortable they are. So he's a very good boy. He's ready to give me the other foot. So he shifted his weight in anticipation. What I was going to show, I'll go pick up the same foot, is if they don't take their weight off the foot, right? Picking it up from here, he's gotten much better. He used to be a problem picking up his feet. If they won't pick up the feet, one of the things you can do is you can squeeze the cap of the hock, or you can squeeze down the tendons. I found squeezing the tendons not quite as effective as squeezing the hock, right? So I can pick up both feet from one side, but for safety purposes, I want to be with my toes parallel to the tail and the hind legs. I want to keep my head this side of the hoof. And now that he's resting the toe, if they're really uncomfortable picking up their feet, I can pick the foot all the way down here. So if I just get them to take their weight off the foot and rest the toe, then it's pretty easy to get in there and pick the foot. And they're not going to fuss, right? If I'm going to pick up the foot, I can pick it up at the toe here. I can hold it at the fetlock joint, right? Or I can hold it here on the hoof wall, pick the feet. If they're bad for the farrier, the more often you're picking up the feet and sort of playing, like when the farrier comes, this hoof is going to be on the hoof stand that high. That can get uncomfortable for the horse. So every day when I pick the feet, I might just play with that a little bit and see if the horse could get comfortable putting the foot up higher. Good boy.